Alright, I'm back. You gotta love that museum technology. I had to do a memory dump, or like what I like to call a memory. I had to take a memory dump. Of course, the capacity was reached, and now I have to separate video after video. So this is how whatever number it is. And for anybody who doesn't know yet, these videos are upside down on purpose. I'm doing this for a reason. All right. Anybody who wants to think, oh, this guy really doesn't know how to use a camera, we'll just try to attack him in an ad hominem way, and let's take the focus off the message. But this Gordon Gecko lookalike in the monkey suit / straight jacket, I'm doing this for a reason, right? But I want to continue to talk about Veterans Day and my veteran experience, because there's a reason behind it. It's all connected, it's all interrelated. But I'm going to continue to go further if this museum technology doesn't mess up and pause and continuously make me have to prolong these sessions, eating more of my valuable time that I don't have left. But I'm giving you the time that I have for anybody who cares to listen, anybody who's entertained or infotained. I'm going to go further about what the information I left off as far as the propaganda that we're fed, the Kool-Aid that we sip about what is. I mean, it could be legitimate. It could be legitimate reason, but it just seems like the temptation to dissuade us and to pull the wool over our eyes is just too tempting, right? Perhaps we fight for freedom, go invade a country like Iraq, and we do it to liberate them. But why is it that we feel like we're not being liberated here? And why do we, it's very shady. It's very very confusing. It makes you have to wonder, are you really being fed the truth or lies? I mean, what's the motivation? I mean, if you have to persuade somebody into taking action in something in a favorable way, you probably have to speak to them in an emotional way that gets them to be motivated. I mean, the best motivation is to make them think that it's their idea, right? If they believe that it's their idea, instead of being forced to do something, they probably want to be better productive and prove to you that they're worth every second that you spend on them. So Veterans Day, being a veteran, I guess talking about, do you really know what you're fighting for? Do you really know what your purpose is? You talk to those who haven't been in a mile of your shoes, 1,000 miles there, and they've never experienced the same things you've experienced, and can they really relate? Do they really care? It's my experience is like maybe they really cares because they're not trained to care. They're only trained to say thank you for your service and then move on, right? They're only going to have their capacity of thought. And if they don't see it on television, if they're not given it that information in education systems and parents and whatnot, then they're not going to follow through on it. You can only encourage the horse to go to the trough. You can't force him to drink. And like a dog, you try to shove its face into the water. It doesn't want to drink. It's not going to slurp. But with us, for some reason, we don't have to be forced our heads into it. It's like we have our thought process and believe, oh, if everybody else is doing it, millions of people can't be wrong. Billions of people can't be wrong. It's got to be right somehow. But if the rich, of course, is doing it, then nobody wants to talk about what the rich is doing. We want to talk about racism. We want to talk about sexism. We want to talk about breast cancer awareness. We want to talk about those things, those apotheoses. We don't want to talk about the disparity between the rich and the poor because, that implicates my boss. Enough on that for now. As far as veterans, you go out there and you put on that uniform and you fight for freedom. You do all these things that you're fed to believe is the case. I mean, you're indoctrinated to glorify the military, right? Why wouldn't you? I mean, if J.P. Morgan's military wants to go and invade a country and it's got the support of all of the followers in the U.S. or any other country, respectively, then perhaps it's best to indoctrinate you to believe that's what you should do. You should support your military. You do a little Larry King leaning over. His posture's all messed up. There's a disconnect. You feel a little detached after you leave. The doors that are supposed to open. Everybody's going to come and say, "Oh, thank you. What can I do for you? Is there anything?" You don't get that respect, admiration, adulation, kudos. You start questioning. Well, what was the purpose of it? I mean, is that why they say sacrifice? You thank you for your sacrifice. What are you sacrificing? In my experience, you sacrifice fun, freedom, future and fortune. You sacrifice a lot of fun because you're over there and you're being told to jump, and you ask how high. You do all these things because you want to be an obedient soldier. You want to be a cool. You want to be a professional soldier. You want to be, they train you. It behooves you to get out there and do what you're told and obey every order. I mean, this is just the enlisted side. I mean, if the enlisted has all the PTSD symptoms, wonder why all the commissioned officers, the ensigns, the lieutenants, and all these guys don't have it. I mean, I guess they're above us, having the 4-year degree. But as far as being enlisted, I can only speak on my side. As far as the Marine Corps side, it was definitely a heartache. That's an understatement. I want to try to keep it as focused on the message and not about my relationship, particularly with the branch of J.P. Morgan Chase's Uncle Sam's military. Veterans Day, Golden Corral is doing, and I've done it probably since '05. Got the free buffet. I love Golden Corral, but it's probably the only best place to go to get any type of respect for your service. I mean, it's once a year, but definitely feeling a little like I've always pretty much felt like I was kind of betrayed by my fellow brethren. Those people who were supposed to, I guess, show me respect didn't really give a shit. And why? Well, every minute and every second of their life, it's got to be focused on what they're doing. They got to be selfish. If they're not selfish, they're going to miss their opportunity. You got to focus on number one, because nobody else is going to, right? I got to take care of me. I got to do what works best for me. But how do you learn all this? Where do you learn all this? I mean, how did I realize the military was? Why didn't I first in high school, public high school or grown-up grad school, why didn't I say, well, I want to do the same thing for the private military? I mean, we all hear of Blackwater, all these companies. Why not do that? If you want to be in the military, why not join a private military? You get twice the pay, thrice the pay. You get more respect, if anything, because you have a bigger house. You can't have a big house when you're enlisted military. You got to have a barracks room. Oh, that's the sacrifice. What are you sacrificing? You sacrificing this? You sacrificing something bigger? Why? How come you're not sacrificing a big mansion? Something on a Bill Gates, Ted Turner level. Why aren't you sacrificing that? Oh, because you're indoctrinated to believe you're not going to reach that level. You're going to reach down here. I mean, that's respectable. We understand, but you're taught all these things. And was I any different? I mean, I was taught all these things. I was taught to go for that house. You got to have a nice apartment that matches your personality. You got to be